Hello, gorgeous ladies of Femme Fatale. How are you today? Okay, let's have a look. Who do we have? What beautiful faces do I have today? Beautiful Michelle, Erica. Hi, Erica. Sylvie. My beautiful Sylvie. Holly is here. Theo is here. Melissa. Hi, Melissa. Shamika. Hi, Shamika. Christina, where did you go? You were on camera and now you're not. I want to see your face. Hope is on. And Samantha and Angie. Hey, this is amazing. There's so many of us that made it live. This is wonderful. There she is. Beautiful girl. I like the face. Keep the face on. It's perfect. It's perfect. So ladies, today is a really fun call. Today's a really fun call because we're going to bring sexuality again back into the equation. Now, I know for some of you, this is an uncomfortable conversation. But one of the big things that I really want to bring into your life, something that I really want to bring into your reality, is that sexuality is actually the only reason we're here. So how can the reason for our own existence be the thing that we are the shyest to talk about? It's the craziest thing. Hello, right? This is how we exist in the first place. So we're going to start embracing sex like magic, like something that happens to us, for us, with us, that is the most beautiful and empowering thing, instead of this taboo, shy thing. And every time we hear our own body parts, it feels weird. Kind of weird. Sexy you is magical you. When you feel in alignment with your sexuality, magic happens in your life. Samantha says, uh-oh, I better go occupy my kids with something so they're distracted. Perfect. I will tell you that, again, October was my most epic. So my biggest month ever was October that just passed. Just so happens, it was the month Kevin and I got engaged. And need I say, the month that I have had the most sex from in the most very long time. Like, it was quite extraordinary. Might as well have just been together for 2 weeks. It just recreated all the vibes. So there is something so magical about being completely aligned in sexuality, in money, and in power. And when we have those three things aligned, everything starts to unfold in the most beautiful, powerful way. But the first thing we need to do is really link sex to two things that are very powerful, which are pleasure and power. You have the potential, like when you're having sex, when you're being sexual in your life, this is how you create life. So creativity, power, magic. And then it's actually really fun when you get into it and you disconnect from all the things that it's not, which is shameful and dirty and all these other things that we've been taught. So really getting into this place where sexuality is a very empowering thing when we're in alignment with it. Does this mean you have to have sex when you don't want to? No. Never have sex when you don't want to. There are times when you're tired, when you're in your moon, in your period, where it's just like, I don't feel like it at all. I feel bloated and uncomfortable. Never have sex when you don't want to. But when you're finding that you never want to, and that you're always in your head about it, and that it's like a chore, then what we're going to talk about today is really going to open some new horizons. So I want you to do something for me. In the comments, write for me what you believe are, yes, Theo, it's Femme Fatale, it's on right now. I'm not talking about sex in aligned up. I love it. Okay, so let me think. So yes, the things I want to ask you to do is, what do you believe connects people in the beginning of their relationship? What is it that makes people so connected and intimate? What are the things you do when you go on a date with a man for the first time, second time, the third time? What are the things that you do that really connect you? So the fact that it's new, what else? The fact that it's fun, absolutely. What else? What connects you? What are the things you do that are really fun? What are some things that new people who date do? They show your best self. Absolutely. What else? What do you do in the beginning of a relationship? Even if it's just like, what do you do? What are some things that you do in the beginning? You get all dolled up. You ask questions. You show interest. You find that you've got common interests. You've got attraction, chemistry. You go for walks. You go for dinner. You celebrate. You take time prepping. I like this. What else? Everything feels exciting. You talk about things. You share experiences. These are great. What else? What else do you do in the beginning of a relationship that feels like, you're present? Yes, present. What else? What else happens in the beginning of a relationship? What's typical for the beginning of a relationship? You make yourself sexy for the person. You try to be sexy. You've got butterflies. Everything is new. What else? What else happens? You smell him, like you're into the smell. You notice things about him, the anticipation of touching or kissing. So there's so many things that come into the beginning. You go the extra mile. But the biggest line, if I were to look at what you guys have sent, what you ladies have sent, what I'm seeing is this. You show up as your best self. You get your imagination running wild. You use all your senses. You enjoy yourself. You have fun and you do things. That's basically the biggest difference from the beginning. So it's lighter. It's more fun. It's more exciting. No wonder we like the beginning. No wonder we enjoy the beginning so much. And it's not just about what we do, it's also who we are in the beginning. We take extra time to get dolled up. We notice things about him, like his smell. We don't take anything for granted. So why this training is called Coming Together or Falling Apart is kind of a play on words. Because obviously there's the funny, like, haha, coming together, haha. But there's also the truth of you're either coming together or you're falling apart. In life, we're either growing together or we're growing apart. There is no other way. You're growing together or you're growing apart. What makes a man so addicted to a woman in the beginning is how much he feels good. And I'm not just talking like, oh, there's loads of sex, so that feels good. I'm talking, he sits with her over dinner and she is so lit up by life and she talks. She leans over, she smells him and she's like, you smell good. She's got stories. She's got things. She's up to things. She's got so many things to talk about. She's putting her best foot forward. She's exciting. She makes an effort for him. He feels so grateful that she's there. She is magic. Like pure magic. They experience pleasure when they eat together. They experience pleasure when they touch, when they kiss, when they make love. They experience pleasure in conversation. They keep their mind sharp. It's like everything is pleasurable. The conversations are pleasurable. The activities are pleasurable. The feelings, the senses, the smells, the touch, everything feels good. And then all of that starts to dissipate and we have different rules for what it should be as it goes on, as the relationship goes on. Now it's more things like you've got to help around the house. I need you to be bringing in more money. I need you to be doing this or doing that. We don't talk enough. So the vibe completely changes from pleasure to pressure. Instead of acknowledging everything he's doing right, you're noticing everything he's doing wrong or not enough. Because what he was doing right is what he was doing at the beginning, so that should be the standard. So anything below that, well, it's not enough. Melissa says, my friend's going through this right now. This is the most incredible thing about women. And I've said it so many times, but it is the truth. We set the tone, the men respond to it. We set the tone. We decide what it's going to be, and the men respond to it. There are tales of men literally crashing into the shores because sirens were singing their song, mermaids were singing their song on the rocks, and men would crash their sailboats and drown trying to get to them. How many stories do we hear about the prince who's never even met the princess, but next thing you know, he's on a white horse going through, dragon-infested woods to fight witches with magic in order to get the princess out of the tower. Like, They're willing to put their life on the line for a woman they don't even know because of her magic. But we stop using our magic and we think force is going to get us the same result, and it doesn't. If you know in your heart that you use masculine energy when you're afraid, say me in the comments. So something extraordinary happened in the world. Women decided they wanted to be allowed to achieve more. This is where the feminism movement started to come into play. Women wanted to be allowed to do more. But in wanting to be allowed to do more, they got confused and they said they wanted equality. We don't want equality. That's not what we want. We don't want equality. We want to be allowed to do whatever we want. That's very different. Women became a lot more masculine during this feminism movement because to be equal doesn't mean to be the same. We don't want to be equal. That's not what it, why would we want to downgrade like that? We've got all the magic. Why would we want to give that up to be the same? Why would we want to give up this magic to be the same? What we want is not to say, okay, I'm giving up all my feminine power. I'm a man. I can do whatever I want. What we want is to say, I want to be allowed to do whatever I want. And that's such a different thing. It has nothing to do with equality. It has to do with full self-expression and freedom. That's what we're really wanting. So how in the world does self-expression and freedom look like masculine energy in a woman? It can, but we trap ourselves there. We think we need to be stronger than him in order to win. We don't. That's never been what made men come to us. It's never been our strength. It's been our magic. You can lead him with your magic or you can lead him with your strength, but you decide who he becomes based on how you choose to lead him. You lead him with magic, he becomes a prince. You lead him with force, he becomes a little boy or a teenager. You create him with the energy you choose to lead him with. So there's a book that Kevin's been reading, and he read me a passage from this, and I was like, this is wild. Listen to this example. And you know I'm very about imagery and examples, so I was all over this. They're explaining that a man and a woman in a canoe is basically what marriage used to be. The man steering one side and the woman steering the other side. The man is steering the side where the money comes in, the decisions are made, you know, all the logical brain stuff. And the woman's on the other side cooking and cleaning and raising kids. Then the woman decides, well, I want to steer on that side. But the man never decides, all right, well, I want to steer on that side. So they're both steering on the same side. What happens to a boat when both people steer on the same side? Non-stop circles. You cannot move forward when both people are rowing on the same side. You just turn. So the biggest issue, Kyle is definitely acting like a teenager. We create that. We turn around in circles because we've learned how to row the other side of the boat and men haven't learned to row our side. But our side was the least fun side, kind of like who wants to clean the house and do the dishes and raise the kid? Like that's not quite as quote unquote fun. I'm going to find out exactly what the name of the book is and I'll post it in the group. It's a book for men though, but I mean, who cares? We're allowed to do whatever we want. So this is the beautiful thing is when men decide that they're going to stick to their side of the boat and we decide that we want both sides of the boat, there are times where we spin in circles. So our magic needs to come in where we make him want to switch sides with us. And that doesn't happen by force because if we get a man to row the other side of the boat with force, we're getting him to do his chores like a mom would get a teenager to. Clean your room, take your dishes to the sink. You can't do it in that energy. It has to come from whatever you need, I'll do. I love you. You're incredible. You're magic. I love you. And the only way we make him feel good about doing those things is if he experiences pleasure always. The thing is, we're allowed to do whatever we want. They're not. This is why I said, why would we want to downgrade like that? Because the thing is, being equal means being able to do the same things they can. We've already got a whole other side they're not allowed to have, that they're not connected to. So why would we want to be equal? Taking what they can have means we're double, means we're more. Margot says, so if we're steering on the money side, how do we attract a man who's willing to do that? So do we want a man who's willing to steer on the other side, or to keep steering on the money side? Christina says, no matter how many times I hear this, I fall back into forced masculine, then Alex acts like, yeah, for sure. But this doesn't happen overnight, because you are in your 30s and you have been acting this way for a very long time. So it's not going to take you this to change your energy. This is something that you need to adapt as a new practice. Michelle says, how does this come into play with the feminine movement, with money equality and experiences? And Christina says, acts like a boy. How do I change this? Stay in my magic. It's the first step is to recognize that energy. And Lucia says, how do I get out of the worry energy when it comes to my husband? He's a recovering addict, and I'm always worried about him falling back into it. So the biggest thing is, if you worry about him or not, that actually doesn't change his experience of being a recovering addict. Your worrying about him doesn't change things. So who were you that made him want to have a life of sobriety? Who were you? Because that's the woman he stays sober for, not the one who worries for him. Margot says, I want the man to take over the money side, and my income is incidental. So in that case, it's your magic and your feminine energy that's going to call in the man that's got the money. We tend to be in such a hustle while we're making money. And honestly, exponential wealth and aligned affluence is going to change this so much for you, Margot, because the goal is that we can create money in feminine energy. And when you create money in feminine energy, it leaves space for the men to create money in masculine energy. So worrying about Alex won't change a thing. So this is the big thing. Michelle says, how does this come into play with equality and making money and experiences? So what is there? So this is my belief, right? And if you believe different than this, please don't be angry with me. This is my belief. We don't want equality. That's not what we want. We just want to be allowed to do whatever we want. This means I want to be allowed to make money and still have my husband pay for me. This means I want to be very capable of opening my own door, and I still want my man to open it for me. Not because I can't, but because he loves me and he wants to, and he thinks I'm that important and that special. It's not about I'm not capable, so I want to be equal. It's about I want everything, so why not? So it's not equality that we're craving. It's everything. We want everything. I want to have every experience the man can have and all the experience the women can have. I just want all of it. I want no limitations. The thing is, in order to have it all, you have to do it in feminine energy, or else you start rowing on the same side of the boat he's rowing. So if you want help with him doing the dishes and the laundry, but the way you're going to do it is go into masculine energy, you're both rowing on the same side of the boat. Unless he learns to be in feminine energy. Now, feminine energy doesn't necessarily mean that he's effeminate. It just means that he is using his receiving energy. He's in the community and helping and serving energy. So how do you get him excited to be in that energy? You've got to be in a feminine energy. You can have him be masculine and do the feminine energy work, but he's got to be willing to move into that side. If you force him, he'll become a teenager. You've got to do it with magic. You can make your man put his clothes in who here has ever managed out of force to make your man do what you want, i.e. take out the trash, do the dishes, do something at least once in your life. You brought the force and he did the thing. Okay. Is that what you wanted though? Does it feel good at all? Does it even feel the way it was supposed to? Like, does it even matter that he's done it? Or is it like, well, if you're going to do it like this, I might as well do it my freaking self because that sucked. This is the big problem. It doesn't feel the way we want it to feel. Margot says, my pattern is I attract a man in my magic. Then he wants to take over the masculine and dump all the responsibilities on me. Or he wants me to take over the masculine and dump. This means that you have, in the beginning of a relationship, a tendency to want to fix things for your man. This is the mothering energy. The mothering energy is something that we believe is feminine, and it is not. Mothering energy is masculine energy. So what you would have to look at, Margot, is where you turn the mothering energy on in your relationship. Michelle says, you're right. Michelle says, I want him to want to do things for me. Any tips on staying in the magic when I feel unheard or go to masculine energy? I can't seem to chance it. There's got to be a decision in the moment where you have the discipline to choose it. It's like asking me, what you're asking me, Christina, is, do you have any tips on going to the gym when you don't feel like it? You go. You've got to decide that this is important. He does. And Tracy says, I see one of my friends do this with her husband all the time. He acts like a kid. Yep, that's me. How do we get over the mother? And Jesse says, like in that movie where Jennifer Aniston was yelling at Vince Vaughn about what she wants him to do to help out with the dishes. Yes, exactly like that. Christina says, yes, Hope, I have the info now, but I don't know how to change it. Michelle, I'm such a mom, but I'm trying to stop. Help. What's the difference between caring for and mothering? I jump and try to fix things instead of sitting back and saying you're smart, you'll figure it out. Here's the thing. You are capable. I'm just going to try to get this. Okay, hang on. Got it. I need to charge my phone because it's going to die. Un momento, por favor. Okay. I care about Kevin more than anything in the world. Anything in the world. When he's struggling with something, I have two choices. I can say, do you want me to do it? I'll do it. I can say, okay, give it to me. I'll figure it out. I can say, don't worry, we're going to be okay. Let me help you, and coach him. I have all the tools to coach him. Or I can go right up to him, look at him in his eyes and say, you are the strongest, most incredible man I know. And I love you, and I'm here for you if you need anything, and I love you so much. And he changes his energy immediately. There's a difference between you care about him and you want him to know he's got this, and you worry for him and you want to make sure he's got this. And the difference is trust. And you're going to know right away when you're on either side of the line, because one feels good and one feels like absolute garbage. When you're in the vibe of trying to take care of him because you're worried about him, you do not feel good. When you're in the vibe of holding space for him because you know he's got this, it feels like empowerment on both ends. You'll feel it in your body. One feels good, one feels bad. It's so simple. Like just hearing it. Listen, the women, just hearing it. People are like, that's a beautiful response. Yes, it's such a different vibe. I love that. Immediately, it feels different. Theo says, being single, I'm in both energies. So how do I attract the masculine energy that wants to share the canoe? So the biggest thing is you don't need to be in the masculine energy even when you're single. Christina says, yes, I feel like garbage a lot. That is a better response. So you never need to be in masculine energy, but you'll have masculine traits you can navigate in a feminine energy. So what does this mean? You can have masculine energy, but you want to make sure you contain it in specific parts of your life. So for example, masculine energy comes into play for me when I am taking care of people. I have masculine energy with my little sister. I have masculine energy with my mom. It comes into play when I am coaching a very, very beginner person who is completely lost and who's saying, I don't know what to do and I'm freaking out. Then the masculine energy will come out. The masculine energy will come out when I'm trying to hit goals and I've got really big things I'm trying to do in my business and I've got to create a plan for it. Everything else in my life happens in feminine energy. Everything. I'm in feminine energy with my dad, with my brother, with Kevin, with all of Kevin's family. I'm in feminine energy with my clients most of the time because I believe in co-creating and not in me being the boss of them, because that's not why they hire me. So I'm in feminine energy with my clients. I'm in feminine energy. I'm in feminine energy. I'm in feminine energy. I'm in feminine energy when I receive money. I'm in feminine energy when I spend money. I'm in feminine energy anytime I'm with Kevin, which is a lot. I'm in feminine energy all the time. So what I would notice is, when are you in feminine energy, and when are you in masculine energy, and is there a feminine energy that you could adopt right there that works? Do you need to go into masculine energy right now? Christina Mars says, I don't say that. I just say over and over, you're so impressive, like a femme fatale robot. So when you're impressed with him, it's not even to say you're so impressive. It's to say, I feel so impressed. Like, you just did that. I feel so impressed by you. Like, I feel so impressed with you right now. Instead of, I feel so proud of you. If you ever tell your man, I'm so proud of you, stop it. I'm so impressed by you. I feel so impressed. I'm proud to be your woman. Energy. So you want to go into an energy of like, what would you say to him if you knew he got this? What would you say to him if he were the most incredible man on the face of the planet and he just kept doing incredible things? And you were so proud to be his woman, and he was the perfect partner for you, and he made you feel seen and loved and heard. If you believed that and you felt that in your relationship, what would you say? Who would you be? Samantha says, I notice I've had less masculine energy with my kids, so many magic moments with them lately because of it. That is huge. Because the masculine mothering energy comes when you worry about your kids. It's the mom who gives a spank on the butt. It's the mom who says, go to bed early. It's the mom who says, if you don't eat your vegetables, you don't get any dessert. That's the masculine energy. Christina says, does it feel good, Melanie, to be the helper all the time with your mom and sis? The thing is, I'm so supported in my life that it doesn't matter. And I think this is such an important thing. Like, if you're consistently, if in your family, you're the one helping everybody and it feels depleting, go be part of something bigger where people are helping you. In life, everything comes back as long as you allow it. And as long as you understand it is not the people you give to that will give back. That's the lesson. Everything comes back. If you've ever heard the saying, you get what you give, yes, just not from the people you gave to. If you keep expecting the people that you give to give back, that's when it feels bad. But I receive in abundance all the time, every day. And I overflow into my mom and my sister. They're not the ones who are meant to give back. The universe takes care of that. I give endlessly. I give all the time. And I believe that I'm going to receive somewhere. It doesn't need to be from them. Everything comes back to you, but not necessarily from the people you're giving to. And that realization changed my relationship with my family, because I kept feeling depleted. Like, I give you everything and you give me nothing in return, until I realized I could receive everything I ever needed elsewhere. It didn't need to be from them. Then you've got freedom. And my ability to give without needing the person I've given to give back is what has created all this abundance in my life. I know it, because I know the universe has got my back and I'm always going to receive. So I can give to whoever I want. It's not about, I trust that if I give to you, you're going to give back to me. It's, I can give to you freely, because everything I give comes back to me tenfold. Whether it's from you or somewhere else, it will come back, because that's the laws of the universe and how they apply. That's power. Then you never have to worry or wonder, should I give to this person? Every time I give to this person, it's not equal. It's not the same. They give, but they never, they receive, but they never give, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. Give freely. The universe will always pay back 100 times over, just not necessarily from the people you gave to. That's it. And Theo says, so being in feminine energy attracts masculine energy. Does a positive magnet attract a negative magnet? Yeah. What happens when you put two positive magnets in front of each other? They repel. So if you ever get into the place in your relationship where your man is tough and hard-headed and you're tough and hard-headed, you tell me that goes well. If you're in an energy where your man is soft and emotional and needing, and you're soft and emotional and needing, tell me that goes well. Someone's got to have the polarity that pulls the other one in. Feminine and masculine energy are the pulls. Let's see what's come in here. Margot says, I took over being my boyfriend's mother. Now he wants to stay that way, and it feels so icky to me. I keep trying to switch it, but obviously I don't know how. It starts in the positive. You've got to change when things are going well. So when we are mothering, we're usually mothering everywhere, but it only feels bad when we're being mothering in the negative way. When we're being mothering in the positive way, it actually feels really good. To be like, I'm so proud of you. Do you want me to make you a sandwich? Are you cozy? Like, do you need something? It's going to be okay. Come here. Like that positive mothering. We love that. We love that. That's where it needs to change first. So everything he does that's positive, you would say things like, I'm really impressed. Like, it feels really good to watch you accomplish something like that. I'm like, I am really like that. What you just did, that kind of turned me on a little bit. That was hot. That was hot what you just did. That was amazing. Wow. I am so lucky. This is amazing. This is the type of reinforcement you want to give. That's very far from mothering energy. Theo says everything comes back, but not necessarily from the people I give it to. That is a huge realization, right? Wow. Tracy says, since I've been doing Femme Fatale, I've been changing my energy at work. I still get into masculine energy, but usually when people are messing up, they say the usual sparkle goes out in my eyes and they know they're in trouble. I limit the masculine energy for the serious stuff. And that is perfect. That's perfect because you are in charge at work. And what you're in charge of, that's perfect. You're in charge. You're in the masculine energy. If you don't want to be in charge, don't put on the masculine energy. That's the rule of thumb. If you don't want to be in charge, do not use the masculine energy. You want to be in charge of your man? No, don't use the masculine energy. Do I want to be in charge of my client? No. So I'm not using the masculine energy. But when I'm with my 25-year-old gallivanting sister in the middle of Europe, I want to be in charge of my sister. I'm like, you sit here now? Give me your phone. Don't text this person. No. Come back. We're going home now. I am in charge in those moments. I am definitely in charge in those moments. And I don't wonder where my sister got it from. She got it right from my mom. My mom's like, no, mom, come back. Okay, breathe. All will be well. So when I want to be in charge, I'm in charge. I don't want to be in charge of my dad. I don't want to be in charge of my brother. I want to be feminine energy there. Actually, I really enjoy my little brother being the big brother to me. It feels good. I could be mothering to my little brother and then I wouldn't have a brother. I'd have a son. I don't want that. So you can be mothering or you can be the woman. And the woman is the princess, is the queen, is the mermaid, is the one people do things for. You cannot be on the receiving end of the people you're in charge of. It doesn't work. You've got to choose. So do I want to be in charge? Yes or no? And Margot says, maybe I mother my brother too because he's younger. He's younger, but after a certain point, he doesn't need another mother, you know? If he's like past the age of 12, you're good. He's good. He can be your big brother now if you let him. You could practice there. He's over 40. You can practice there. Let him be a man. Let him be a man. Just practice with your brother. It might even be easier than with your men. See how things change fast when you let men be in the masculine energy. Samantha says, my daughter even asks to give me back massages every day. She keeps wanting to help me out with so much because I've been so much more open to receiving rather than telling him what to do or trying to do it all on my own. This is the thing. Michelle says, what do you do if the man stays in the feminine energy? So if the man is staying in the feminine energy, you've got to keep looking at yourself and seeing where am I still being in the masculine energy? Because you may be doing the feminine energy things and still boiling inside and wanting to be like, psh, psh, wake up. But if he's in the feminine energy because he enjoys that, that's when you've got to decide, am I okay with this? Melissa says, what if he craves that being babied? And there are men who crave that. If he craves being babied and held and cuddled and taken care of, he is a feminine energy man. And there's two things you can do. You can say, look, it's really important for me to feel feminine in the relationship. And I'm realizing that when I take care of you and cuddle you and all those things, I get kicked out of my feminine energy and I don't like it. And I'm wondering if you'd be interested in doing some couples work with me to see how we can like navigate this. Because I see it's important to you, but it's also important to me and I'm feeling kind of off with it. If he's interested in getting coaching and you're both doing the work, it's going to be a lot easier. If not, if he's not getting the work and you're trying to do it all on yourself, the only thing you can do is bring the magic as much as you can and see if you can shift his desires and see if he can, if yeah, he likes being cuddled and held, but maybe he also likes being admired and desired. And if you can shift the energy there, you may be able to have him want something else because it feels better. Margot says, when he made a lot of money last night, I said, congratulations. Was that wrong? No, wasn't wrong at all. But the energy matters. So if you said, oh my gosh, congratulations, that's amazing, that's a little bit mothering. A little bit. But if you're like, oh my gosh, congratulations, that's amazing. That's like, I'm impressed with you. So it's not the words, it's who we are when we say them. Because as I started telling my husband that the coffee he makes for me every morning is the highlight of my day, it brings me to life. He stopped complaining about waking up earlier and wanted to make me coffee. I make sure to thank him all the time. It's magic. So I will try, but we have almost no relationship. Baby steps. And again, a 40-year-old does not want to be mothered by anybody. It feels emasculating. So it's very possible that that's the reason you don't have a relationship, is because you haven't figured out how to do it in a way that feels empowering for both of you. It can shift in an instant. Christina says, I really think I'm getting this. Yesterday, sweet husband brought home some ducks he killed and I said, wow, you're amazing. Look at that. You're so manly and sexy. He was so proud. He made me feel so good. I canceled all of the plans because I was so happy and researched how to cook the duck. He was so excited. We had the best sex. So grateful. This is the magic. This is the magic. Sylvie says, okay, so how do you do to be in this feminine energy? I think I need to hear that again. So the biggest thing is, when you're wanting to be in charge, you're in masculine energy. When you're wanting to receive, when it's all about you, when you're in your experiential world, when it's like, what makes me happy? What makes me feel good? When you focus on pleasure, then you're in your feminine energy. Where do I feel good? Where do I feel the most empowering? Where do I feel the most happy? If you really focus on yourself, your self-love, your self-care, and you respond to people in a way where you're impressed, you're amazed, you love it, it feels good. So people are making you feel good. They're adding to your experience of life. That's feminine energy. Margot says, oh, my boyfriend loves to be babied. Uh-oh. Theo says, how do you shift the relationship with my son? He's 24 and doesn't need to be mothered. So how do I shift the relationship? I don't mother him, but not sure how to connect with him now. So again, you're going to mother your son because he's your son. But just giving him room to be a man and saying things like, I'm so proud to be your mother, is such a difference between I'm so proud of you and I'm so proud to be your mother. When he does good things, you just be like, you did such a, like, what you just did there makes me feel 6 foot tall. Like, I can't tell you how impressed I am with you. You're really doing amazing. I'm so proud to be your mother. It's incredible what you're doing, talking about him the way it makes you feel, because you being proud of him is him about him. You feeling good about what he's doing is him about you. It's like when he realizes he can impact you like that, it gives him that masculinity. It gives him that, oh, if I can make her feel good, I want to make her feel good, instead of she's proud of me, whatever. Margot says, in this culture, this is predominant. In his culture, this is predominant. I gotcha. And Melissa says, I've been working on trying to make him feel more desirable and telling him how impressed I am with him, and he is loving it, but still a huge baby at times. And you may need to navigate that. If that's who he is, you may not need to navigate that sometimes. And let's see. No problem. Thanks for being here, Diane. Okay, got it. Changing the language. Thank you. Perfect. So the goal is you want to feel pleasure in your relationship. And pleasure doesn't just come from sex. It comes from senses. How does he smell? How does he feel? Things like that. But it also comes from having fun. What's fun? When you're there, it's always like a chore, a heavy conversation. You don't really do anything. It's kind of boring. Men are a little bit like kids. Like they want to do what's the most fun. That's why when you first start dating a guy, he ditches all his friends and he'll do anything to be with you because you're the fun thing. And then as soon as something else is more fun, he wants to be doing the other fun thing. That doesn't mean he doesn't love you, by the way. He can love you and not like you. And a lot of cases for men, that's what it is. Like, I love you with all my heart, but I can't stand you this much. Like, I need to go do something else. I need to be somewhere else, and stop nagging me because you're making it worse. I love you, but leave me alone. The only way you get him to be like, I love you and I can't get enough of you is when you're fun and exciting and excited and switched on to life and pleasurable. And to be honest, you'll know when you're being that because your experience of the relationship will be equally pleasurable. You don't have fun nagging him. You don't have fun telling him, we haven't spent time together all week. You don't have fun telling him, you never take me out anymore. You don't have fun doing that. You don't have fun saying, we never have sex anymore. Do you know it's been this long since we've had sex? You don't have fun saying that. You don't have fun sitting and watching TV all night and each being on your phones and then going to bed exhausted. Like, that's not it. So where's your flame, your fun, your passion? Where are your stories? Why don't you have anything to say? Michelle says, Tom brought brownie mix home and says, you like to bake, I like to eat, so I bought this. See, the thing is with that, though, is for him, what he saw is win-win. You have pleasure baking, I have pleasure eating. So there's two ways you can look at this. If this was the beginning of the relationship and you'd been dating for 2 days or 3 days, and you had told him on the first date that you loved baking, and he goes to the store and he remembers that you love baking, and he picks up a box of brownie mix and he comes home and he says, you know, you like to bake and I love to eat, so I brought this. You'd be like, oh my gosh, he remembers that I love to bake. 20 years in, you're like, you little rat. You want me to bake for you? Is this your sneaky way? But if you decided to be like, you are the cutest, like, that just made my day. Yes, let's do it. I'm going to make them right now. Then he's like, oh my gosh, I just did something good. And he grows 6 foot. You could even do more than that. You could say, you know what else I love? I love to have a nice glass of wine. So why don't I pour us each a glass and you can sit with me while I bake them? I have so much to tell you. I've got great news. Like, who are you in your relationship? Are you fun? Because men crave fun until they die. Like, what's the funnest thing to do? If they weren't like that, like, tell me if this is not the truth. You go shopping with a man, he would prefer to sit on the bench outside of the store because that's the funnest of both realities. I'm either walking through the store for 5 hours or I'm sitting on a bench. He will choose the bench just to not have to do something that's not fun. I would go shopping for anything for Kevin. Like, I don't even really care. Like fishing gear, hunting gear. I don't really care. I'd just be in the store with him, just looking. But if I decide to go in like a scrapbooking store, he'll be like, I'll wait for you outside. Because he will not subject himself to boring things if it's not fun. So my job is to make it fun if I want him to come with me, or else it's just not. And I wouldn't want him to just come and not have fun because that's not fun. For me, to be in a place that I love and he's not having fun, that's no fun either. But I have to be the fun, not them, right? Well, here's the thing. It's your job to create it that he wants to be there. If you want him there, if it's not the type of scenery that makes him have fun. It is. Why would we make anybody do something they don't want to do? And what does it really mean about your relationship if your partner doesn't like to do X thing with you? It doesn't mean anything unless you give it a meaning. Yeah, but in the beginning, he would do everything with me. Yes, but in the beginning, you used to wear skimpy little outfits and give him blowjobs after every good day. Like, he was up for good deeds. Like, he was up for magic every day. There was a potential sex explosion after every good deed he did. He was lining those good deeds up. There was something good around the corner. Then, you had a headache. You didn't feel like it. After 7 or 8 times of putting himself through something he didn't want to do with no reward, he was like, this is no longer worth the gamble. I'm going to wait outside. So you've got to be able to decide, like, I want fun in my relationship. And it's not to say, and please, it is not to say that the only way you're going to get your man to have fun with you is because you promise him sex at the end. That's not what I meant by that. But what I mean is, he had so much more to look forward to when he was nice or good in the beginning. Now, sometimes I think he feels, so often men, they feel like no matter what they do, it's never enough. And who here has ever had their man say something like, I feel like no matter what I say right now, you're just going to be mad, or I feel like no matter what I do, it's just not going to be enough. That is like the feeling of, this used to work. I used to be able to fix things by saying this. I used to be able to fix things by doing this. And now I can't, I don't know what to do. This used to work. I used to be able to just say this and you'd forgive me. And now I can't. Like, there's no fixing it. It's really hard for men because they're the fixers. And we don't let them. Masculine energy is the fixing energy. If you don't let him fix what's wrong, you're breaking the masculine pattern. So the problem, the silver lining with women wanting to have it all, is that we forget that there's other people in the equation. We can have it all, but that doesn't mean that there isn't an impact when we declare that we're having it all. If I get to say I'm allowed to have everything I want, there's a possibility that he feels like, well, what about me? If you always get everything you want, that's also not a compromise. You're allowed to, but why would you choose to? Why would you declare that you're more important in the relationship? You're allowed to have everything you want, but then you get to choose, like, do I want everything I want, or do I want the most incredible relationship in the world and I'm willing to do what it takes for it to work? And there's a balance, and there's a middle, and there's a navigating of things in there. So the biggest thing here is you're either coming together and saying, I understand you and how you work, and I understand me and how I work, and I'm going to make sure that our puzzle pieces fit. Because I know it, and I know how it works, and I know how to navigate it. And my goal is that when we're together, we have fun. Kevin and I have been together now for almost 6 years, and I have had the time of my life being his girlfriend. I have felt so happy being his girlfriend. And now I'm his fiance, and I'm going to spend 2 years being his fiance, and I'm going to have the time of my life being his fiance. And then I'm going to be his wife, and I'm going to have the time of my life being his wife. But I live my life with Kevin one day at a time. One day at a time. Although I'm in it for the long run, there is no day where I go on autopilot. And one of the big reasons that I can do this is because I've made this work such a big part of my life. I'm so grateful I did, because it's really made an incredible, incredible relationship. But this means that anybody who puts their relationship at the forefront will have an incredible relationship. How big of a part of your life is he? And how big of a part of your life do you want him to feel? We think that nagging him and telling him we want to spend more time with him is us telling him we care, but it's not. It's us telling him he's not doing enough. It doesn't translate to him. You never take me out anymore sometimes for us means, I want to go out with you. And he hears, you're doing something wrong again. How do you make him feel like he's doing it right, so he wants to do more of it? Because the truth is, the strongest man is the confident man. How do you make him feel like he's doing it right? Yeah, sometimes he's not. But if he's always not, then everything stops. You know, even if you want to go on a date with him and you can say, you know, I would love us to think about, you know, what's the next date we want to go on? Like, what's the next adventure we want to go on? What's the next thing we want to do together? Christina says, I just had the biggest realization. Daniel has literally been telling me what he wants for years. I never picked it up before. Okay, that is huge. And they do tell you. But the issue is we also hear it like we're doing something wrong. So sometimes he'll tell you what he needs and all you're hearing is you're doing something wrong. So you're trying to defend what you were doing and why you were doing it instead of listening. So what do you want in your relationship? How can you declare, like, what does a pleasureful relationship looks like to you? For some people, it looks like sex in the morning, breakfast together, text messaging all day, a romantic dinner together, watching TV, going to bed. For other people, it looks like morning snuggles, texting throughout the day, going to lunch together, coming home, having dinner ready, having sex, going to bed. For other people, it looks like sex morning, sex afternoon, sex night. For other people, it looks like sex a few days a week, but cuddles all the time, and love and closeness and laughter. For some people, it's different, but what does it mean to you? What is an incredible, pleasurable relationship to you? Because you can have a good relationship without it being pleasure forward. You're still missing out. Pleasure is the key of life, and the more you experience pleasure as a woman, the more your relationship goes well. And for him, it's the same thing. Pleasure is like the spice of life. Michelle says, is it normal that he enjoys being alone sometimes? Men do enjoy being alone. Men enjoy being alone because they have a thing that they can do that women cannot do. And it is that they can clear their head. So because women have emotional brains, everything reminds us of something. We're always feeling. And because we're always feeling, we're always thinking. But men don't think that way. So when they're thinking of nothing and they've thought of everything there is to think about, they get into this blissful state called nothing. And it feels so good to be there. It's like no stress, nothing to do. Just like, this feels really good. And then we come in, what are you thinking about? And they're like, no! So they do like to have nothing. It's their moment of stillness. They might not want to go to a spa and listen to relaxing music and get a pedicure. They want absolute silence, to do nothing, to be alone. And there is, if you Google the nothing box, there is a YouTube video that is the funniest thing of a doctor that explains men's brains and women's brains. And it's like the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, it is so good, and it's so funny, and it's so accurate, and it's so silly. A couple of things that are a little bit like, but it's good. Margot says, we do life together with a little alone time thrown in. I love that. And it's important that you have alone time, because when else are you going to think and be and decide to recalibrate your feelings? Like, you can't be with him all the time, or else you're constantly in reaction and in response to him. When do you get to do your own thing? Michelle says, Tom never wants to be alone. It drives me nuts because I need alone time. So see, he's got the feminine energy. He's got the feminine energy in the relationship. He really does. So one thing you could do is say, to sit next to each other, put relaxing music on, and just both kind of sit there and breathe. Maybe have a spa day or something together. And have him experience it in a way that feels pleasurable to him. But it's important that you have your alone time if you need it. Yeah, Becca, exactly. And Margot says, I like my share of nothing too. Of course. Michelle says, makes sense. It's probably why he's so distant. Yeah, and the more we try to take them out of their nothing, the more a pain in the butt we are. Like, they need nothing sometimes. You got to give them what they need. Tracy says, maybe that's why they spend so much time in the bathroom. They're in their nothing moment. Maybe. Lucia says, I like that for myself. It's how I recharge. Is that normal? Of course it is. I love being alone until I don't. Samantha says, I love my alone time too. Would never want someone all over me 24/7. I would crack without separate alone time. Well, here's the thing though. When you're in a relationship and things are really working well and you're totally in love, you get addicted to the other person sometimes. And when the relationship starts going sour, for some people, when there's that stress panic feeling that comes in, it's like, don't leave. You know, if you don't want to spend time with me, it means something's wrong, because at the beginning you couldn't take your hands off me. You couldn't. But men do need alone time, and very masculine, energy-driven women also need alone time. You got to honor what you need. And it never means anything bad to need something. Like, I need space, I need time, I need whatever it is that you need, honor it, but do it from a place of, you know, like, I'm going to go and I'm going to have a long bubble bath and I'll be back in an hour. You know, that's one way. Instead of being like, yeah, I'm going to need to be alone, so go away, you know? We just have to navigate it with class and kindness. Margot says, I just don't like their alone time to have to involve leaving the house if we're living together. You don't get to choose that. Their alone time is their alone time. Run a bubble bath. You cannot control that. And if you try to, that's mothering. That's like the mom being like, no, you've been out enough this week. You're staying in. No. You don't get to go out. Not this weekend. We're doing family things. No. That's no good. Elizabeth says, I haven't been the fun one lately because I also haven't felt met or understood. Not sure if he is the right one, though. We're having a big talk tonight about what we will do in the relationship. This has all hit me well, feeling vulnerable. So this is a really important thing, Elizabeth. You set the tone. So it's not like he doesn't meet me and he doesn't make me feel understood, so I'm not fun. You have to keep being fun. And if you're still not met or understood, that's how you know the relationship isn't right. Because when you're the best version of you, and you are enjoying life, and you are bringing magic and passion to the world, and you're bringing it, and it doesn't click, you know it's the wrong relationship. But when you withhold the fun, and then you don't feel met or understood, you may actually be causing that, and you will never know until you give 100%. So the key to knowing if your relationship is meant to last is you fill it with pleasure. And if it doesn't click, it's not meant to be. We fill it with pleasure. And we'll either come together or we will fall apart. But it has to be pleasure forward, always. What's good, what's fun, what feels good. And yeah, sometimes we need to have conversations and we do alpha communication, but we bounce back. And the main goal is fun always. Fun, pleasure, feel good. That's the key. And if it can't be that, even when you're being the most fun, lighthearted, happy person, and you're really kind and efficient with your communication, then it's just not meant to be. Dan says, I'm still blown away by realizing I carry the masculine energy. Margot says, then I kick him out. So he's coming here instead of leaving here. So this is the mothering energy. And it's very, you don't kick out a grown man from the house. You kick out a teenager when they act up. You're going to look at yourself and see, where am I being the vixen and where am I being the mother? Where am I being the one that he can't get enough of, and where am I being the one he can't wait to get away from? Because we can shift that energy in a second. And it's the same thing, if he had a fathering energy, you'd be just like, ugh. If you were like, where did you go? What time are you going to be back? Text me when you get there. No. How much money did you spend? Are you crazy? It's like we don't want that. But we still want him to care. Did you get there safe? Okay, I love you. We still want him to care. But if you were like, hey, you never text me when you got there, the roads are difficult, you don't just go out and not text me like that, you'd be like, whoa. Teaching us lessons, that doesn't work. And you'd become a teenager very quickly, you don't get to tell me what to do. Have you lost your mind? And who were you the last time you got so snippy with a man? You're probably about 16 years old. So you don't want to create the teenager in your partner. Elizabeth says, how do you keep the fun and pleasure long distance? Have you ever met a man in the beginning that didn't live in your basement? Because anywhere further than your basement is long distance. So you've done it multiple times. How were you cool as a cucumber when you first met the guy? How did you make him want to bicycle to you when you first met him? Long distance is that you're happy and you feel good and you've got things to share and you're in a good mood and you're living your life and you're magic. You're switched on. You're happy. You're it. Work on you, and it's like you're a lighthouse on a cliff, and you switch your light on, and no matter where he is, he feels that light. And the minute you switch it off, you're invisible. So keep the light on. That's your job in your whole life, for yourself, for your clients, for your friends, for your family, for your partner. Keep your light on. That is your one job. Your job is not to mother everybody. Your job is to light your own light. That's the thing. I don't want a father in my bed. Samantha says, my ex had the fathering energy in a controlling way, would not want anything like that. Margot says, yeah, I just think I'm not interested in even finding it again. I'm so exhausted. I don't know. You don't get to need to find it. That's masculine energy. You're only exhausted because you're in masculine energy. Feminine energy is not exhausting. You gotta just let it go. It's gotta be about you, Margot. Just you and your life. What feels good? Go on a trip by yourself. Say, I'm going on a trip by myself. Go on a trip by yourself. Leave for 4 days. Go feel what it's like to just be with yourself. Think, journal. You need to figure out how to get back into your feminine energy or you will always be exhausted. You're not meant to work this hard. Becca says, my husband takes it a bit too over with our traveling experiences. I notice the change when I'm on vacation. I'm so excited to explore the city we're in. Then my husband gets excited and there's a huge shift in energy. He asked before why I always wanted him to go, and I always tell him that I want to share my experiences with him to create memories. Wait, my husband takes a bit too woo over. I'm not sure what this means. I noticed the change when I'm on vacation and I'm so excited to explore the city we are in. Then my husband gets excited and there's a huge shift in energy. He asked before why I always want him to go. And I always tell him that I want to share my experiences. Absolutely. And this is the thing. Like when you're doing things together, it's so exciting. But it has to come from a place of you feeling good and him feeling good. Samantha says that would be so scary. A woman keeping a man in her basement from day one. Better stay away from that one. Question. I gave my recent relationship his alone time and he ended up spending that time meeting other women. He said that our relationship was so perfect that he didn't believe it was real. But Theo, that is one man. Women learn lessons. They don't create patterns and defense mechanisms. Tell me that that was the only thing that wasn't working in the relationship. I doubt it. He had low self-esteem for sure. There was issues there. One man does not define men, same as one woman does not define women. Tracy says, I love the lighthouse analogy. That's such a great visual. Diane, after 5 rounds single and Femme Fatale, I am heading in for the best next relationship. Yes! I love you so much, Elizabeth. Mwah! Margot says, I'm selling my house and going permanently into an RV as soon as my house sells. Becca says he doesn't like to travel. So as long as he feels important. So there's another thing here. One of the things that Kevin really teaches his men a lot is you can be as passionate about the things you love as you want, as long as you're just as passionate or more about her. Like men who are super involved in sports and they love sports and they're sitting in front of their TV and they're getting so excited and you're looking at him like, I haven't seen you smile like that in 20 years when you look at me. You just want to punch him. But if he's the kind of guy who's happy and excited with you and he does things and he's romantic and you're having fun and he loves you and he's nailing it, then watching him enjoy a game makes you want to watch the game. It's the same thing with us women. If you're excited about travel, but you're not excited with him, then he watches you get all excited about something thinking, where the hell is this woman? She's the one I fell in love with. You show me nothing of her. And now we're out here and look, you're back to being all loving life. Like, this is crap. We go home. Where is this chick? So it's finding a way to bring that woman back into your life, because it feels good when you're that woman everywhere, but it does not feel good when you're that woman about something that's not him, and that he doesn't have the power to make you feel like that. That's the emasculating, scary thing that makes him shut down. So your work for the next week is to really connect to pleasure in your relationship. Eating a delicious meal together, watching a movie you enjoy together and you're both laughing. Not just a series on Netflix, but you're both kind of on your phone, like something that you're really engaged in. You know, have intimate sex and enjoy it together. Have fun. Telling him a joke, having a conversation, like have fun with him. Create pleasure so that you become, again, the thing he enjoys the most, and he becomes for you the thing you enjoy the most. You've been there before. This is something that exists within you, this kind of chemistry. But pleasure comes first. Pleasure creates chemistry. I feel good when I'm with you. That's what's needed. So infuse the next week with pleasure in your life and use that pleasure to reconnect with your partner. Life's too short for no pleasure. Life's too short for serious, mediocre relationships. This is not what we're here for. We're here to feel good, and so is he. So let's enjoy that. Okay, so share with us your experiences in the group. I cannot wait to hear all about it. Margot's like, that's what I used to say. Well, start saying it again. I love you all, the world, and a pound of plums. You're beautiful. I love you. You smell nice. And I will see you next Saturday for our last training before Femme Fatale reopens on the 18th of November. I am very excited. I love you. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye, ladies.